As we mention often here, under Donald and his authoritarian regime, acts of resistance, small and large, are becoming more and more necessary as our slide towards fascism continues to increase. The recent face of the resistance is a man you may have seen in videos. He has been dubbed Sandwich Guy, and he went viral for an unexpected form of resistance, shall we say. Take a look at this. Oh! 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 It's fucking gun! Fucking gun! Okay, I didn't realize he was barely clothed. I'm not entirely sure why that was necessary for that awesome act of resistance, but you were seeing that right. That man wearing boxer shorts lobbed a foot-long sub at ICE agents while screaming, "Fuck you, fascists." A week after slinging the sub, Sandwich Guy's likeness popped up in memes and in art all over DC and in social media. Protesters have been holding up Subway sandwiches at protests as a symbol of defiance. Residents report that Sandwich Guy art can be found everywhere, with people sporting merch and graffiti. In a time of increasing darkness, some forms of resistance may not seem particularly serious. They may indeed even seem silly, but they bring a much needed sense of lightness to this dark moment. As people in the resistance, we cannot constantly put our faces in the horrors, right? We need to take a step back on occasion. We need to find ways to protest that bring us joy so that we are stronger in those moments when joy and hope seem to have disappeared. In addition to everyday Americans, some major financial backers are also stepping up to try to stop Donald and his inner circle. An unexpected duo. This actually sounds like a setup to a joke. A billionaire and an archbishop walked into a bar, and they both hated Donald and are teaming up to stop him. That's actually not a joke. It's true. Miami Archbishop Thomas Wensky, 74, has taken an active role in the resistance with help from a local billionaire, Miguel Fernandez. They're both trying to protect immigrants who fear being caught up in the Trump regime's ICE sweeps. After nearly 50 years of working in the ministry with immigrants in fear of being deported, Wensky is going even further. He has helped expand a church program that provides free legal advice to immigrants facing deportation, and he pressed Florida to allow clergy to access the notorious gulag that the Republicans in Florida set up in the Everglades. These are just some of his recent innovations in trying to help immigrants. Fernandez, the financial backer, is a lifelong Republican turned independent because of his disdain for Donald Trump. Earlier this year, he gathered a group of Cuban Americans in his Coral Gables mansion, and the group agreed that Donald had gone too far. They were reluctant to challenge him publicly, however. Instead, they collectively donated $250,000 plus another $50,000 from Fernandez. Half of the funds went to the church's Catholic Legal Services of Miami, which has 30 staff lawyers and who give free help to 3,000 immigrants every single month who are in detention camps or facing deportation. But Fernandez hasn't stopped there. Earlier this year, he put up billboards in Miami calling Donald a dictator. He also rescinded $11 million of donations to Miami-Dade College and Florida International University after the schools cut aid for undocumented immigrant students. Fernandez had lobbied for a 2014 law that allowed immigrants who went to high school in Florida to qualify for in-state tuition, but a state immigration law that Governor Ron DeSantis signed this year eliminated the program. Fernandez says, quote, "I happen to be one of those immigrants who arrived in this country penniless. I see myself in those people who are being detained today," unquote. We need more people like Fernandez recognizing the seriousness of the situation. Now, it's great it's great if somebody recognizes that if not for fate or luck, they too might be in the kind of situation immigrants are in today. But I would like to think that people are willing to help out in this incredibly important endeavor simply because they know it's wrong, not because it directly impacts people they love or their neighbors, or because they know that if life had turned out differently, they too would be in a similar situation. More people, people with means, people with power, people with influence need to step up to help immigrants in this country simply because it's the right thing to do. Failing to do so is un American. And if you claim to care about your country, well, put your influence, your power, and your money where your mouth is. And align yourself with powerful institutions who can also help make serious changes and have a lot of influence at the local level. Florida is not backing down or giving in to fascist Governor Ron DeSantis, who continues to insist on perpetuating all of Donald's most vile policies. While Florida tries to destroy diversity and erase LGBTQ plus people from history entirely, Florida residents are fighting back. In Orlando, locals are defying DeSantis and Donald. They've reinstated a rainbow crosswalk outside the Pulse nightclub after Florida officials removed the rainbow, which was installed in memory of the 49 people killed at the site in 2016. And they were killed simply because they were members of the LGBTQ plus community. Take a look at this scene. Absolutely, sure. Yeah, sure. Awesome. Never underestimate the power of awesome. Yes, I'm so happy you guys did that. That's amazing. Democratic State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith, who became the first openly gay Latino elected to the Florida legislature in 2016, told Newsweek, quote, "While this attack was meant to demoralize us and push us back in the closet, Orlando refused to be erased. It was inspiring to see so many local residents spring into action in response to the governor's cowardly abuse of power," unquote. These kinds of, it might seem a small thing, right? To paint over a crosswalk that was turned into a rainbow in honor of those killed in a mass shooting, right? It might seem like a small thing, but it's not. Because one thing the Trump regime knows is that representation matters. Pride matters. We saw the same thing happen in DC. In the wake of the murder of George Floyd, Black Lives Matter was painted in bright yellow on a major thoroughfare in downtown Washington, D.C. One of the first things the Trump regime did, as if this was a priority, was force the local government of the city of Washington, D.C. to paint over the Black Lives Matter message. That is not a small thing. They understand in ways that sometimes our side seems not to, that there is power in erasure just as there is power in refusing to be erased. Please take a second and like and share this video. It'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.